What do you think the numbers should be?
So, the numbers, I mean, the IRS is a walking dead bureaucracy. It's been eviscerated. The budget is way down, and you can see it in these numbers. You are more likely to be audited in the United States if you make $20,000 a year than if you make $500,000 a year. You're more likely. The most audited county in the United States is Humphreys County, Alabama. That's disproportionately poor, disproportionately black. This is a question of equality and equity, and we're leaving huge amounts of money on the table because poor and black people don't actually cheat on their taxes as much as the vastly wealthy because they don't have the opportunity.
Adam, I assume you're taking the other side of this. You think we shouldn't be spending the money?
I just look at let's go back before this last tax bill that was passed. Back in 2017, almost 47 million people itemized on their tax returns. Now in 2018, that's down to 16 million. What that tells me is the more we simplify the tax code, the easier it is going to be to collect. And I look at the costs to the economy of tax compliance. That's almost $400 billion every year. 8.9 billion hours in compliance is spent. So in my vision, simplify the tax code, you make it real clear, and then you're not going to need the size of the bureaucracy that you have today.
Do you not believe the numbers that suggest that spending more on audits actually creates real revenue? And that we have people legitimately and genuinely cheating the system?
If you have a complex tax system, I felt so bad for the IRS that they had to become the implementers of the Obamacare system. You have this much complexity in a tax code, you're always going to be having problems. That's why
do you think we should have police on the street? I mean, I don't understand this.
I think it's easy to understand. The more you simplify and clarify a tax code, the easier it will be to collect.
But Adam, here's the problem. You've simplified it for the portion of Americans that are the lowest earners. The top earners, that system with the new pass-through rules, everything has gotten more complicated. There are more loopholes. And the wealthy are now more like companies with offshore. They've got LLCs. They've got trusts. Most of the money earned in this country does not come from the simplified W-2 forms.
Well, then let's go there. Maybe that's something we could agree on. Let's close loopholes. I think loopholes is the devil in the detail where K Street lobbyists and all the corruption ends up living. If we make a simpler tax code, we can make it easier to collect.
The simplification of the tax code is a long-term talking point, but the complexity is not an accident. What happened is complexity was lobbied for by the wealthy, by corporations. And they put in a huge number of loopholes, and then they game the system through the loopholes. So we can't simply talk about complexity. What we have to do, and in fact, the wealthy will never have easy taxes. So what we have to do is enforce. And one of the ways you enforce is you audit. And if you're not going to audit, you're not going to find any lost money.
Well, wait a second.
So you need revenue.
I don't like to, my mother told me never brag about money. You'll never have any. But I fall into that category of people that have to deal with a huge level of complexity, and I have to hire all these professionals to do it. And I would prefer to just have a very simple, maybe a flat tax of 33 or 37%, and let me pay it. Because right now I have an army of people, and I don't consider it productive. It's a waste of time. So and when I do pay taxes, I have to go to court to get it back, and I have to hire lawyers, and all that. It's the whole thing's crazy.
So we have a principle in the United States that the wealthy pay a greater share of their income because they have more. I understand, but of course you would want a flat tax because it would be beneficial to you.
But what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with the $400 billion we spend on?
The wealthy have much more money and benefit disproportionately from the infrastructure that the United States.
Let's punish successful people. Let's make sure we go after them.
Just let me clarify. You said a flat tax that's higher than 33%.
I'd pay more if it was simpler. That's what I'm saying. I probably have 20
you pay
people.
More. What's your effective tax rate? When you say 33%, is your effective tax rate higher or lower than 33%? It's lower. God bless you for taking on 33%.
I don't even know anymore.
Most of your taxes come from investments, right? So you're taxed at a capital gains rate, not at the ordinary income rate.
I have capital gains. I have current income. I've got.
So your tax rate is probably more in the 20s?
No, it isn't. Not a chance in hell it's in the 20s. It's way more than that. I just know it is.
On a federal level?
I just think of that
We're not talking
$400
state.
billion in
understand this federal
compliance
level. I
costs.
look
Imagine
at
returning
all the
that to the
dollars that go
economy.
to states, that go to federal, that go to municipalities. It's all tax. And I would ask you guys one question, just on behalf of everybody that's an investor and wants to be one or an entrepreneur. Do you believe, Andrew, this is for you too,
Okay, go for
that
it.
it's better for me to give money to a government and put it through the meat grinder of government hell than investing in a company? What would you rather me do with my money?
We're not talking about rates. We're talking about just collecting what the government
Well,
is
while we're
owed.
at
Rates
it-
is a whole separate discussion. Rates, we can talk about that forever. What we're talking
No,
about
but
today
one of the reasons
is just
you should care about rates is I argue that 1/3 of every dollar given to any government is wasted. That's my whole point.
And that's an important argument. What we're talking about today is, should the IRS have more resources to collect what the government is legally owed? That's a very simple question, and there's no answer because right now Congress is fighting over this issue.
Look, make it simpler, as you said earlier, and then everybody will pay their taxes because 99% of people don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat on my taxes. I don't need that headache. I want to be free to go make more money. That's what I want to do. I don't want
and that
lawyers
benefits
chasing me.
all in society. When we're creating wealth in this society, everyone is benefiting. And if we could just make it simpler for corporations and for individuals, money that's spent on compliance would go to the productive side of the economy.
Adam, as you know, as we've been saying here, we can have that debate, but I think this is a different conversation here. Adam, I have heard you talk about what you call the rule of law. You talk about the rule of law. There is a law in this country which says you have to pay your taxes. The idea that you don't want police on the street to actually verify that people are paying the taxes doesn't make sense to me.
Look, the IRS exists. I've talked to many people who pay a lot of taxes. I think someone just said a little while ago they don't even know what their effective rates are. There's a lot of people out there who have no idea how much they're paying in taxes because they have an army of lawyers and accountants that are doing their best to figure out, and their job is to figure out how to lower their rates as much as possible.
That's
and
me.
as long as we
don't
have
know.
a broken
know my
system, this is
effective
going to continue.
Meet my army.
Is it Humphreys County, Tennessee, or Alabama?
Humphreys County, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Be good to know.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, get that right.
Jesse Eisinger, Adam, thank you guys.